tell me why you were so excited to do this interview.
Oh, starting off with a hard question. Yeah, I've been involved with YR for just about as long as I've lived in Indiana, and having the opportunity, just with all of my involvement, to kind of hear how it started, it was really cool just to hear about the people who started it and how they did that, and how they're doing a lot of what we do today. They're communicating with each other and finding the best solutions and going outside of themselves to find answers. And it's cool to kind of track that that same kind of philosophy through it and see how it's doing different things. Like back then it was so we can have YR today, and it's still so we can have YR tomorrow for us now, but it's just cool to kind of see how all of that tracks through, and how that mission has never changed.
Right. Yeah. Phyllis always talks about listening to young people. That's like, ever since I met her, that's been kind of the mantra of what their goal was back in 1987, was saying, like, young people have a lot to say, and they have a lot to say about the solutions that can be created for the issues that they're facing. And we just need to invite them to the table. And I think from when I was involved in YR, and what Ann Burnworth, who was the executive director when I was involved, did for me, was invite me to the table, invite all of us to the table, and say, we want to hear what your thoughts are, from being at YR board meetings, to meetings with the mayor, to working on projects with organizations that exist in the community. I think asking young people what they think is still part of what Phyllis's legacy is at YR, besides all of the stuff she did to create, everything that we're doing today. But that, as her core tenet, it made a difference in my life, and I hope is something that we continue to do through all of our programs today. Okay, was there something that you learned that was surprising, or that you truly just was new information that was so interesting to you?
Yeah, I didn't know she went to Washington, D.C. to learn some of what she brought to YR. It's just cool because of that, now we have it here, and we have those resources here, and I think that definitely speaks to her legacy, and that whole board and everything that they did. Yeah, that was probably the biggest one, just that it went so far outside of, and also that TAC was the difference compared to the other chapters. Just to see how it connected, the reason was because the TAC students were deciding or making the decision for the MAD grants, and just kind of seeing that overlap and permeability between the programs, I think was just really cool. And being involved in all of them, I can kind of see how those lines sort of cross, and it's really cool to kind of see how everything that they did then and that Phyllis did then is still what we do now and impacts what we do now. And
right.
Yeah.
You don't often find something that works and then it works over and over again for 30 years, right? Yeah. You think that, you have to dramatically change every generation or whatever, but truly what it is about people and relationships and community and being involved in a community is that the core philosophies and the core emotions behind that don't change, right? Empathy and going outside yourself and being selfless and compassionate and wanting to help others and wanting to get involved in the community in a way that creates change for others in a good way, wanting to be a positive member of society, and then surrounding yourself with people who also want to do those things, and then bringing in people who don't even know that they want to do those things, and then together building your skills and lifting everyone up with you. I think that some of those things are just inherently human. And sure, we would love to work ourselves out of business, right, or out of nonprofit business. But we all need that opportunity, and we all need to have people that will help us plug in and help us identify our own gifts and talents, and then show us how to use them and plug us into the places where we can use them. So it's really, yeah, as much as I would love to say that, someday in the future, we'll never have young people who need community. Of course, we'll always have young people who need community. We always have adults that need community. It's a good thing. It's a good problem that we get to solve, I guess.
I think that was one of my favorite things that she said. You find yourself doing things you never thought you would be doing. Like when I joined, I went to Team Power because my mom made me go to Team Power. And I was my first real time, like overnight away from home, and it was scary. And now I find myself going into my third year of youth staff. I'm the president of TAC. Like, I don't really enjoy public speaking very much, but I find myself doing it because I know that there's 29 executive committee members that believe in me. There are at least 20 advisors that are there, and yeah, I think it's that community showing me that I can do it. So then I do start to believe in myself, and I do believe in the mission and all of those things that Phyllis talked about. Just like, even though I've only been involved for a few years, you can still see all of those things start to form, and it's just really special. And when you really sit down and think about it, like 5 years ago, I was just a little girl who just moved into Indiana and didn't know anything really about the world. And now I think because of YR, I've started to find my voice and what I am passionate about. And I think that's really special and something that you can't fake. And that's what's so special about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what we hope to do here, not just for young people, but for our whole YR community, because I still feel like I could give everything I have to YR and I'd still get more back than I ever could give. So even as adults, we continue to learn about ourselves through the relationships, the mentors that we get to have, through the engagement that we do with the community, learning not only skills, but about what we believe in and what we're passionate about, and why, what our core values are. And I think what I believe about YR is that, to a certain extent, it does matter to me what your core values are. But at the same time, I want you to feel empowered for whatever you're passionate about, that you take the skills and the confidence that you gain here in this community, and you take it and you do so much more than we could ever dream of, even here at YR, in whatever community you end up in. I mean, that's my hope for all of our students that go on to become alumni, is that they will continue to develop everything that they started here into something bigger and better than we could ever imagine, and that they'll continue to give back wherever they are, whether it's here in the United States or abroad or in our local community. Of course, we want to keep you guys here because we love you, but wherever you go, that you take what you learn here and you just continue to grow it and grow as a person too. That's my favorite. I think that my favorite thing is that the relationships here last, and the growth lasts beyond just 4 years of high school or a couple years of middle school and then your high school career. That what we get to develop here together is lifelong and life-changing and long-lasting in pretty much every way. I mean, it has been for me. So, yeah. And I know a lot of my alumni friends would say that too. It's pretty cool.
Really cool. Yeah. I think, like, when I think about why I continue to come back for youth staff and stay involved with TAC the way that I am, as much as I do love the work we do and believe in it and think that it's important, it's always the people. Like, I love coming to exec on Mondays and hanging out with even just the officers every other Monday, and just soaking it in at TAC meetings when co-chairs just go off and do amazing things, and I just get to see all that happen and soak it in, and just watching like that teen court respondent like feel the difference that this program makes and that all these volunteers are making. It's always the people that keep me. It's people who I don't get to go to school with all the time, that this is like my home away from home. And yeah, as much as I do believe wholeheartedly in what we do here and the mission, it's always the thing that'll last beyond my involvement with TAC and Team Power is the friends and all the people that I meet along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's what community is, right? When we say get involved in your community, it's getting involved with people. It's building relationships. It's learning about people who are different from you, who have different backgrounds or have different stories, and then figuring out how do we all exist together and how do we care for each other in the best way possible. That is what community is about, is people. So I love that you're getting that here, because that's certainly what we want for all of the young people that we work with and all the young people in our community in general, is that, you know, I can only do so much, right? My capacity is whatever, X. And then if I get to impact you and however other many students that we work with here, and then you guys go out and impact so many more people, you know, that's the goal. That's the ripple effect that we want. We want lots of people who care about others out there living their life and caring about others in whatever ways they can.
I think that's what is so special about YR as a community, is it gives me the opportunity to care for others and build relationship, but it also shows me how. So I think when a lot of people join YR, it's going right into high school, and that's like one of the most important points in our life up to that point. And that's like one of the first times you start to really find yourself and find your people, and that's hard and it's scary. And
Yeah.
having a place like YR model that every single day and show you that it's possible every single day, I think makes all the difference. It did for me, at least.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Any last thoughts?
Donate.
Donate. Happy YR Day.
Happy YR Day.
Please, if you also believe in young people like Becca or like me when I was a young person, we'd sure appreciate your gift today to help celebrate with us.
You share your stories. I want to hear them.
Yeah,
I love reading them.
absolutely. All right. Thanks, B.